Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome Daytona International Speedway, the Iron Thunder Racing League Rush Series. 1 minute, 10 seconds left here in practice. Appreciate everybody joining in tonight. Went live a little early, testing some new stream settings that we'll be using throughout the rest of the year. We appreciate you joining us, and we'll get right to qualifying in about 52 seconds and counting. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Daytona 201. Qualifying has started. First few cars out on the racetrack, so it is time to come across the board. We'll give them to you. Also, check out on the top the ticker, and the fastest lap will be shown as the current leader as everything unfolds. Daytona 201 here for the Iron Thunder Racing League Rush Series, live on the the Iron Thunder Racing Network. I knew I would do that sooner or later before the year was over. Figured it would have been done a lot sooner than that. The old rubbered up is no more. Moved on to bigger and better things with the Iron Thunder Racing Network, covering all the Iron Thunder Racing League action. Track temperature, checked in with that just a few seconds ago. Down on the front straightaway, 94 degrees. Wind out of the east, about 6 miles an hour. See a few people probably sit back and use all this time that they can to make a run. Is John Schwackert. He'll be back with us tonight out of Ohio. He'll go to the top of the board early on. Kelvin Mosier, Louis P2. Patrick Langley out of Travelers Rest, South Carolina, to 49. 814, good enough for fourth at the moment. Sylvain Jolly up P2. 7 cars have qualified. Their first lap of record.
Speedway, so some of these guys might have forgot, or they're just want to start in the back. Yeah, Adam Sharam, Alex Little, starting in the background at 50.40 and 52.37. Maybe try to stay out of the way a little bit. We do have 81 laps here tonight, so it is a long race.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see who takes that gamble and hangs around the back, and those are going to stay up front and see how long they can stay, and we'll find out where the big one comes from. Hopefully we can get by with not having one at this Daytona International Speedway. The big one's going to happen no matter what happens. We're going to see it somewhere at some point. But hopefully, we only see one of them, as John Schwackert's still holding on to that top spot. Heavy hitters have already qualified.
Yeah, he still had that 49.491. Matt Cherry was able to get into second, 49.553. Second row, Kyle Weatherman currently, and Sullivan Jolly, correction. And now the top five, Mona and Ramen. Looks like as qualifying's winding down, everybody has about a minute left, so a couple more times may come in.
Should see a few more straggle through. I know some of these faster guys like to wait until the very end, use up as much time as possible.
Yeah, I expect to see Ray Rittenauer lay down a pretty good lap if he does go out there and take qualifying. And you know, him and his teammates have usually been pretty good here at the super speedways.
Most definitely, and Matt Cherry will go P2 with a 49.554.
It looks like Ray was able to get the outside of the second row right next to Kyle Weatherman. Teammate down there, Kevin Hash, still hasn't run a lap either, but he probably will be up in the top five if he does take one.
Get ready to set up the grid. Time has elapsed. Cars will line up on the grid, work through. Sort of surprised there by Rittenauer. Maybe letting it hang out a little bit, maybe trying something a little new. Normally, he is up at the front of this thing, so.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, even here with the one lap qualifying, even if you spin a little bit out of the pits or miss a shift or get a little loose in the bottom of 1 and 2 trying to get up on the track, that definitely can hurt you because you only have 2.5 corners to get up to speed. So it definitely could have been something like that. But P4 is still pretty good. Should be able to stay out of trouble early, hopefully.
And we'll see if he continues that strategy of kind of laying back in the back there. Normally see him kind of work his way back fairly quickly and kind of ride around. Not seeing his normal two teammates that he's usually followed around back there, so maybe a different story here tonight altogether. The 87 of Ray Rittenauer. Definitely be one to keep your eye on. Running order up. John Schwackert and Matt Cherry will start on the front row. Row number 2, Kyle Weatherman, Ray Rittenauer at the second. Row 3, Sylvain Jolly, Monin Ramen. Row number 4, we'll see Bailey Curry and the 89 of Matt Quick. There he goes. I missed him in the rundown, but definitely do have him, so watch out for the 89 and that 87. Maybe hook up and do some tandem action.
Yeah, definitely Matt Quick, Ray right now. Definitely watch out for them. Starting P9 tonight, Sawyer Rott. P10, David Matson. Kelvin Mazer, P11, Patrick Langley, Matt Hendricks, Donnie Davis, and Chris Gale running your top 15.
Cars get ready to move off, and they are moving. Double check right quick. Making sure we get. I can. Chat log here. Just in case we have any messages come through. New streaming side, don't Can't actually see the comments like I normally can, so until we get the bugs worked out and get it fixed up. But 81 laps. Sit back and see how it's all going to unfold. That familiar number 1 at LaRue Motorsports of John Swackert will lead the field to the green flag. Green flag is out, and we are underway for Daytona 201. Swackert got a good restart there. Matt Cherry able to drop to the bottom side in front of the 6 of Kyle Weatherman. I leave the 87 of Raymond Rittenauer out there to lead that second lane with the 44. Martin Rahman ready to tap in tow.
Yeah, it definitely looked like some strategy there. 6 letting down the 48 kind of early. The outside run is definitely already getting a run up towards the front as the 87 goes for the lead.
Already Cream rising to the top quickly. 87 and Raymond Rittenauer side by side. He'll pull out in front of the one of John Swackert. He'll deposit himself in sole position to the lead as they work their way out of turn number 4. Swackert to the top.
Yeah, you got some heavy hitters inside and outside that didn't want to get that first lap not led there. Number 1 is Swackert, came back around, was able to take P1 and get that first lap led. Now looks like dropped to the bottom of the front.
One of the musical positions up here, back and forth between Swackert and Rittenauer as they two start to break away a little bit from the front nose of the 48 Cobalt Chevrolet Camaro of Matt Cherry. So far right now, seems like everybody content. Not a lot of hustle and bustle as Rittenauer flirting with that apron there a little bit.
It looks like he was on that bumper, Swackert, all the way down the backstretch, pushing him out as far as he could so that outside line didn't have a chance of getting any further runs. But it looks like they got a little bit of one here. Looks like the 48's trying to creep to the outside, taking a look, but single file through the top.
And that's one thing we noticed too is the more we run here, if you get 2 guys that can stay hooked up nose to tail for as long as that engine will allow you, and as long as it don't overheat, it seems like those guys can put a little bit of distance on them. They won't get out too far, especially if they're working on that high side. They're able to pretty much pull up even with the front, even when that high side's not working to their advantage.
Yeah, just like you said, outside is making a push here, although the 87 isn't tucked back up under the 1 right now. But the 44, 89, and 09 definitely make a run on the outside. Gaining some supporters back there. It looks like Sawyer on the outside as well, starting to make it a 6-car pack on the outside.
And looking more on these cars, everybody seemed to be, I think last week we've seen a lot of in and out, cars moving, bouncing back and forth on the super speedway, and looks like they're a little tame here, with the exception of Rittenauer ever so often. He likes to flirt with that apron there on me, but if anybody can handle it, it is at 87. We get ready to put lap 5 on the board. John Swackert still leading.
Yeah, 27 here is Carter Knight taking time and out on the track. Looks like most of them up still towards the front of the field. A couple stragglers in the back trying to avoid the big one. But pretty much, top 5 single file, but everybody else on back row 2x2. Looks like it's going to be a fun night. Definitely different than the duels in the Premier Series. There was a lot of single file racing, but definitely some 2-wide tonight.
Yeah, I think we'll see, hopefully we'll get to see a good long green flag run here to open this one up. Everybody, top lane starting to fizzle out a little bit, starting to migrate toward the back of the field. Everybody's starting to migrate to the bottom, I should say, toward the back of the field. But Martin Rahman has moved in between Matt Cherry and the 87 of Raymond Rittenauer.
Yeah, just like you were saying, everybody kind of falling in. Second line just seems like everybody's riding around right now. They're pretty content as Matt Quick drops to the bottom to take P5, right behind the 48 car in front of Kyle Weatherwind. But everybody's kind of, not really right up on anybody, has at least a quarter to a half a car length in between most of the cars here. Just taking it easy. We're only lapped here on lap number 6, coming to number 7 of 81. So, just take your time, just like it always is. No quick resets. So, got one car and one car only.
It definitely makes for everybody to be on their P's and Q's as we have our first taker to drop to the back, the 63 of Storm Patterson, threw out the parachute, and he is falling back to the rear of the field. A little bit of strategy in play for him as we see Bailey Curry and Sawyer Ott side by side for 9th and 10th.
Yeah, it looks like the cars are wiggling around a little more now. I don't know if that's just a result of maybe them getting a little warm. Like you said, 94 degrees on the track today. But, this outside line is definitely thinned out a little bit, about 5 to 6 cars up there, mostly a lot single file through the top 6 now. And, a couple of people dropping to the back. Maybe they're just not liking the big pack right now.
And good thing for these drivers, that temperature has fell already 4 degrees since we've been on the racetrack.
That's right. I mean, track conditions definitely play into it. The cooler it is, the better these cars can stay up behind another car without overheating. And, in that case, you might have a little bit better of a push to the front. The outside might be able to push longer. The inside might be able to do the same thing. So definitely gives for better racing when it's a little bit cooler out. But, then again, we're still, top 6 single file, still having some good racing throughout the field there.
Indeed. 97 of Eric Trapeau is, I'm not quite sure what happened with him. He is well off the pace, just now entering turn 3, as the field is in the middle of 1 and 2. And the 88 of Justin White has lost the draft as well. He'll be about 5 seconds off of your leader, about middle ways down the back straightaway. And 97 Eric Trapeau will bring the Spinard Simulation ride to pit road here on lap number 9. Field gets ready to put 10 on the board. 72 laps to go in the Daytona 201.
Yeah, it looks like Eric Trapeau is going to drop a lap down here. Justin White's the only one that's kind of fallen off the lost the draft there. Still 25 in the lead pack. Most of them just kind of riding around, like we said, single file back there. Outside line starting to gain a little more supporters. Definitely lots of checkups on the inside. You're seeing a lot of, guys getting some runs, maybe overheating now. We've been going for 10 laps and just trying to run. They got a good idea of what their fuel is going to be and when they're going to need to stop. So they might even already be trying to figure out where they're going to do that.
Hopefully that may be something we see a lot of tonight. Those drivers making green flag stops. Definitely puts a good strategy move for these guys to keep them thinking on their toes. Top 3 right now, just content with a little bit of breakaway with a car length and a half advantage over the 48 of Matt Cherry in that top line. Like they're ready to start challenging. They got nose to tail on the top.
Yeah, it looks like Dave Mattson, Sawyer Ott, and Tristan Ott making a push on the outside. Definitely coming from back about 10th position now, pushing up to the 4th spot. Definitely got a big run on the inside. Working their way up to 3rd now as they're coming down to the start finish line.
Dave Matson leading that charge in the Navy 09 Chevrolet Camaro. Matson, no stranger to the top 5 in these super speedway races. Yacht Brothers nose to tail right behind. As you see, they take a little bit of time off from being nose to tail right pushed up. Lose a little bit of momentum. they'll have to keep those cars breathed and out just off the bumper just a little bit to make sure they don't overheat. Even though the ambient temperature today is about 69 degrees, seal the front of that car off, no air. I believe you'll blow that thing up no matter what temperature it is outside, but definitely the cooler the better. The longer they can stay tucked up. Right now, not really seeing anybody pushing the issue. Still 69 to go, long way to go here. Nobody playing out to see what kind of strategy they can do. Everybody right now just nice and content to ride. Click off some laps, put them on the board, and see how it plays out come time for green flag stops.
That's definitely something interesting you had mentioned there. You know, tape on the front of the car here. You know, most of the series we run here at ITRL are fixed setups, but here in the Rush series it's open setup. So, you know, those top 4, 5, 10, everybody could have a different tape configuration. So, you know, the 87 may be able to push the 1 for a quite good amount of time, but then the 35 might have less tape on his car, so he can push, you know, the 09 a little even further. So it definitely comes into it. Everybody running probably something different here, some little change here and there. So should be a pretty good race. It looks like we're double file all the way back to about 20.
Stacking them up, racking them up, side by side. They storm past the camera there at the top of turn 3.
They just got a big push by the number 25 of Roger Diebold. Gave the 2 Alex Little a good push right into the turn 3. Got a little sideways. Luckily, he was able to save it. But yep, still 2 by 2, all the way back to about 21st position right now.
Clicking lap after lap off. We're already 15 on the board. 67 to go. John Schwackert out there leading. Josh Cully right now, 33, has the fastest lap of the race with a 46. 370. Came on lap number 5 for the CRT Small Engine Repair Camaro of Josh Cully.
Yeah, and everybody looks like they're pretty racing right now. The inside 3 and the 187-44 pretty much stayed right on each other's bumper here. That's definitely keeping the outside from making much progress, as they're pushing as good as they can. But, you know, if you got 3 cars tucked up right behind each other on the bottom, it's going to be fairly hard to pass them.
Rittenauer, you know, he riding right there where he wants to be, just content, out of trouble, at the front, ready to make a move anytime he needs to, and just really intrigued by how much the 48 has decided to stay off of the back end of Monin Rahman and Matt Quick as well. Those next 3 in line kind of got a buffer. Matter of fact, next 4 or 5 in line, a little buffer there, as we see Monin Rahman all over the back deck lid of the Lucky Dogs 87 machine.
They're definitely trying to keep that lead here right now, and you know, the 48, 44 definitely teammates here. They're probably just riding. 44 is pushing when he can. 48's just giving him room. Matt Quick right behind him. Kyle Weatherman on the bottom. Another teammate there. So a lot of riding. Looks like Tristan Ott drops to the bottom. Correction, that's Sawyer Ott. Looks like he's maybe a little hot. 3 wide now. Matt Quick just forced his way down there.
And look, that gap may have closed a little quicker than I anticipated. And Sylvain Jolly just had a oh crap moment and got up on the wheel and drove that thing and saved her. We get you a quick replay there. It was well worth the rewind for Sylvain Jolly. As we'll take a look at what happened. Just gets down and clips that apron and could not get it off of it. Sylvain able to hang on, but he'll lose multiple spots in the meantime.
Yeah, it looks like everybody's rating to their crew know that was behind that. Go ahead and give me a pair of extra underwear for the next stop, because a lot of that back to single file now. And definitely a oh crap moment. Pretty much everybody did a good job at avoiding it, but definitely half sideways coming out of turn 4 there was a good set.
Everybody's starting to migrate to the bottom of the speedway. I didn't even get a chance to look at the fuel window here tonight. Usually when this happens, strategy is close. We'll see guys hitting pit road not too long after they start diving for the bottom.
Yeah, definitely. And that's some of the most exciting racing here. I mean, 2x2, 3x3 is definitely fun, but taking all 27 of these cars and having them squished down into pit road down to 60 miles an hour, 55 miles an hour, there are definitely some excitement there. Everybody getting on the brakes pretty hard and, trying to get into their spot as fast as they can. Because, even if you're 1 second slower than everybody else here, you could lose the draft. I mean, that's just how it is.
Yeah, they go in there and try to get every ounce of speed they can before they get on the binders. And I tell you from experience, it's no fun diving off in there not knowing who's going where and where they're going. You just know that there's room for about 3 of you to get in there, and most of the time we got 20 trying to go at once.
Yeah,
We're about to have some.
Yeah.
About to have some right here.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of the top 10 at least are coming in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, probably 10 or more coming in here.
First 3 in cleanly.
A little contact there. Axe Little got into one of the cars in the back there. But still some cars out on track. Definitely about another 10 to 12 out there still on the track.
And there goes trouble for the field. 87, 89 hooked up nose to tail. See them shoot down pit road here.
Looks like they're coming down this time. Everybody making their necessary notifications. Oh, a little diving in there. 24 pretty deep on the inside, but looks like everybody's getting it woed down, and looks like we got clean coming in on the second group.
Yelling at 24, using every inch of the racetrack.
Now let's see where everybody just sorts out. It looks like first out of the pits was Monin Ramen, followed by your leader John Schwackert and the 09 of David Matson. So we'll see. There's about a 5-car group coming back around to see where they end up. But it's going to be interesting. There's lots of gas between a lot of these cars. Matt Quick and Ray Rayton are still hooked up though in the front.
And we'll let iRacing sort it all out. The way they do the timing lines, it'll take about a lap to get everybody scored in the right position.
Yeah, it looks like your lead's probably going to be around Matt Quick, Ray Rittenauer. Looks like Kyle Weatherman and the Matt Cherry coming up with a little bit of speed. That's probably going to be your top group, top 5. Second group's probably about 7 to 8, 9 people, a little bit deeper than that. It's probably going to group back up here fairly well.
I tell you that 33 may be the saving grace for Matt Cherry and Kyle Weatherman. May have helped them a little bit catch back up to the tail end quick and Rittenauer, but now it looks like, as I say, that may be a hindrance for him as the rest of the field starting to catch up to those two.
Yeah, I think Weatherman was pushing Cherry pretty hard there, so they were probably getting to the point where they were getting hot. Looks like Sawyer going to go to the outside now, but Unfortunately, even though Quick and Rittenhour are out there, they're pretty much in no man's land. You know, there's a pack of about 15 cars here coming up on them, so they're probably not too long for the lead by themselves.
And the best hope they can have is to see some double file action behind them, where they give them a spot to get in and sort of catch along. These guys got single file; they could go around the outside and sort of freight train those two, but see that double file action. It's all you're out. It's on the outside of 48 of Fat Cherry, bringing Brother Treston right along as the rest of the field starts to double up behind them.
Yeah, it looks like just around the outside, Justin White going a lap down. 3 cars a lap down currently. Justin White, Daniel Atkins, Adam Schramm back to the 26th position. And drop out. He's been out for about 15 minutes now. But just like you said, definitely starting to get packed up here. Rittenhour and Quick staying out front, though. They're going to have a challenge on the outside from Josh Kelly here, but everybody else single file.
Josh Kelly jumps up, and nobody going with him right now. The only person close to him, Sawyer out. Now the 14 will jump up. Something tells me that's not the 14 car. We have him. That is Ryan Pepperwitz in the 37. He is shown as the 14 teammate, Sip and Shine teammate. The back to blue 33 of Josh Cully. Different paint scheme on that ride than what we're used to.
Oh yeah, but you know, just like we're saying, looks like we're coming up on Adam Schramm here. He's going to go possibly 2 laps down. Going to have a little 3 wide action. Might be a little hairy here for a second or two. Keep it up on the outside. But yeah, looks like going around the 43, just had a big crash up into the wall. Kevin Mazer looks like 43, 54, but the 44 looks like it went around. My correction, that's going to be the 43, the 44, and the 94 are going to be involved in that one. Most of the damage for the 43 and 94 looks like, unfortunately, as we're going to go back and take a look at it, but probably a little bit of net code, probably a little driving. As the drivers were talking, you know, they were saying possibly coming, both of them, one going up, one coming down. Unfortunately, that's what happened.
Yeah, we see it time and time again here at Daytona. And those of you watching that don't really don't understand netcode, it's just basically the computer trying to anticipate the movement of the race car. Everybody, it's not 100% like you're there live, but they do a lot of good in creating that. But sometimes it can be on the bad end. That race car is moving up the racetrack at a high rate of speed. Physically possible that it can be turned, but iRacing overcompensates just a little bit, and you'll see those phantom touches where the car still has about 2 foot in between them. That's what we refer to as some net code, and it happens, unfortunately. Just a part of the game, as we see Cherry, Cully, Weatherman, Swackert, Matson, Langley, Rahman. Pretty much everybody but Sawyer, Treston, Matt Hendricks.
Yeah, unfortunately, you know, this is going to put those other guys up front. Looks like about 3 of them on a different cycle. Looks like Adam Schramm, he's a lap down. But maybe they're just going to come in this time. You know, they might be just trying to get as much fuel as they possibly can. But if they stay out there, they're definitely going to be on a different cycle than the leaders once it, you know, sorts itself out. And usually that's not a good scenario here at Daytona because, you know, if you're only a 2-3 car pack, there's 20 others barreling down on you, they're going to be faster.
Definitely, unless we could, we've seen some weird strategy a couple of years ago. Two guys elect to stay out, caught a long string of green flag run all the way to the end, and somehow, some way, come out of there with a victory with the help of a lap car. Hopefully, we won't see that happen tonight because that was probably one of the most boring races we've had in a long time. But they definitely played the right strategy and called it where no more cautions came out and pretty much rode off into the sunset. Right now, we have 29 laps on the board, 53 to go. Take a quick moment. We'll be right back live on the Iron Thunder Racing Network. Welcome back to the Daytona 201. Like and submit, distinguish your top of the iRacing.com Ford Mustang. Getting ready to head to the safety of pit road. Sawyer out, Tress and out, the Ott brothers on the front row, getting ready to bring us back to green flag action with 30 laps on the board this time by.
It's like a little separated there, coming to the green flag with the 96. Friction 36, 35. Tristan Ott, Sawyer Ott definitely working together here as the Ott brothers take the top two spots.
Something we're not really used to seeing. And, these two guys getting a chance to work together, especially here at the Super Speedway, as the one of Schwackert pulling some side draft there off the 69 Pit Viper machine of Matt Hendricks, as he'll try to do it all by himself and pull up beside that 36 of Tress and Ott. Just can't quite get it done.
Yeah, unfortunately, nobody's up there to help him right now. He's definitely going to need to use that side draft to his favor. Still working the first lap of green flag here. Correction, second lap, and still pretty much single file. Starting to work a little bit up on the outside, a couple cars back.
Yeah, that's one thing, man. I tell you, it's so nerve-wracking knowing you can do it, but you got to trust that guy underneath you. And you start side drafting. We know these cars wash up a little bit, and we know how far they'll go if they touch that apron there. 69 Matt Hendricks having a little bit of connection issues. He'll choose to go to the back of the racetrack to avoid any calamity here at the front. 89 of Matt Quick will quickly fill his spot as he'll tuck up behind the 35 of Ott.
Yeah, got some teammates / undisclosed teammates up there on the bottom side, the Ott brothers, and then Quick and Rittenauer. Definitely all going to be working together, pushing each other to the front here. But outside starting to get a run, the one of 24:09 in 25. 4 cars out there, definitely making some steam.
Roger Deeb holding out 25, quietly making his way up there at the moment. We continue to put him down. Sylvain Jolly recovering nicely. He's found his way inside the top 10 after having to go back to the back of the field after making contact with the apron.
Definitely some good racing up front now. Pretty much 2x2 back to about 10th spot. A couple more of the cars making their way up to the top now. That 14/37 of Ryan Peplinski making his way up to the top. He's about side by side with Sawyer for the 14th, 12th position.
Old John Schwackert hung up there as long as he could. Hung in there like a hare in a biscuit until help came with the 24. Hot flirting again with that apron. As we see the race moves on, we're starting to see these veterans that are not, normally don't see them down there. Sylvain hangs it out again off the bumper of the 20 of Patrick Langley. He dirt tracked it through the tribal there. He'll keep that nose straight and stay in position. Another white knuckle ride there for the 08 of Sylvain Jolly as he's got his hands full with Patrick Langley.
Yeah, definitely. Pretty much 2x2. He really was trying, John Swacker, definitely trying to get down on the last going into turn 3. You could see him all the way up on the high side trying to get as much as run as he could to get past Sawyer Ott there, or Tristan Ott. Unfortunately, just not able to get it done on the outside. The Ott brothers making some good pushes on the bottom, you know, Rittenauer and Quick right up behind him. So definitely couldn't get drafters on the bottom. Might be a little hard to get around.
Yeah, we'll see him too. We'll see especially Sawyer. He'll push. He'll know what he needs to push, and he'll watch. You know, while those two guys are while Gale's getting a little bit of air, he'll go to the back deck with that 36 and work until he needs some air. And then about the same time, Gale will go back to work. So they'll be back before seesaw battle. They'll be just who can hold off the longest. See if that one can jump down. Go 3 wide with a lap car here. Lap car all the way against the outside retaining wall, throwing sparks there. Field starts to work back.
Yeah, it looks like we have about a 10-car breakaway. Has about 5 car lengths on the second little group here. That lap car, the 88, is going to help them out a little bit. But, you know, 12-car breakaway, 2x2x2. Everybody minding their P's and Q's. A little swaying side and side, but pretty much steady their positions. I'm thinking the outside is getting a little warm because they're not as pushing as much.
I learned, I won't give any secrets away, but I won't say who I learned it from, but there's some of these guys that are always at the front of these super speedways and are good pushers. They pay attention to what those two guys above them are doing all the time, and that's, you know, when you see two good super speedway guys 1-2 on the bottom, it's just about impossible to get something going on that top side. Is not going to give up is the one of John Schwacker, still hanging in there right now, not able to clear at 36 of Tristan Ott.
Yeah, he pretty much led the whole way up to that first pit stop. You know, that one lead change on lap 1. But he ended up still making first position. He looks like he's clear of Ott now, so he's going to probably drop down and take the lead.
Just had enough room to clear him. If he'd have waited a split second longer, may have not been the same outcome there. They were able to get that big run. 36-35 were off of each other. Looks like Sawyer out right now trying to get all the air he can to the front of that grill. May have got a little warm on the bottom as well.
Yeah, I'm sure Chris Gale is thankful that John Schwacker dropped to the bottom. He was probably pretty hot, just as you were saying, Tristan the same way. So,
and from experience, man, the two hardest things out here on these super speedways, number one was that side draft with no help, and getting that guy in front of you on the top lane, getting him pushed down, and especially when you got two good guys there on the bottom playing that chess game with you. Gets frustrating, especially up there. When you get them, you stay even with the front two guys on the bottom. Just can't get them quite pushed out. And it's definitely a sigh of relief whenever you do get them. But sometimes what happened It's happening now with that 24 Gale. A little bit of deflation in the ego as you start to fall back a little bit.
Yeah, looks like the 24 is making some good progress up on the outside, though. You know, it looks like, unfortunately, we're only down to 4 now.
When you're out there up front by yourself, you got to rely on the guy behind you. The inside draft a little bit, but ultimately you're going to need the guy behind you to stay tucked up as much as possible. Still only 4 out there on the top. Everybody else starting to migrate to the bottom. John Schwackert, most of the field on 13 laps on this run. All you're right, Tressenot right now sitting about 19 laps. They're not far away from a green flag stop.
I tell you what, top 13 cars look like they have their little pack breakaway. 2 of the lap cars, Justin White, Adam Schramm, holding on to the initial pack. But it looks like after that, there's a pack of about, 8 cars have kind of fallen off a little bit. Probably just watching what's going on. Patrick Langley, Matt Cherry, Kyle Weatherman, Lennon Rahman, Bailey Curry, Matt Hendricks, Alex Little. Just kind of riding single file behind this front lead pack, and probably just like you said, maybe getting ready for the next round of green flag stops, because they're definitely coming.
Right now, if you're, if we were in a different time in the race, Schlackert right now could be a sitting duck. Those 2 behind him both jump up, catch the 24 at just the right time, or he could start having some battle back on the bottom from the 89. They'll go around him, but shouldn't be too long before we see second and third place on pit road. We just hit the halfway mark. 40 laps to go.
Yeah, definitely looking for those green flag pit stops here coming up shortly. A couple of those guys, like we said, stayed out. Tristan not. So it's going to be a different strategy, like we had talked about. Watch for them to drop off here soon.
They'll put 22 laps. I believe 3 of those were under caution. Should be able to stretch it a little further than our first round. But look for the rest of the field to pretty much stay on course for the amount of laps. 24, Christopher Gale getting a good push from the 09 of Dave Maxson.
Yeah, the outside starting to build a couple more players here. Storm Patterson up there with the 25 Roger Diebold. Definitely trying to make some progress. The 09 Dave Masson had a little bit of connection issue there. I don't know if everybody saw that, but it blinked a little bit, fortunately. But everybody single file pretty much when they spot that.
That's another heartbreaking feeling. Starting to work your way up through there and have a guy have a connection issue, and luckily he was able to come right back. My experience is the guy was more back at about the 10th spot. We're going to see Treston and Sawyer on pit road as Christopher Gale goes to the lead.
Yeah, it sounds like a couple others back. Matt Henry's going with him, Adam Schramm. So I might have a little group of 4 or 5. Roger Diebold also going in. So it's going to be a little group of people to go in here.
Yeah, Diebold tried to pit for that outside lane. At 89 of Matt Quick there. Nowhere for him to go. He'll hold on and ride for another lap there. As he'll drop all the way to the bottom of the speedway.
Yeah, looks like it was just four people going in there. A couple of other people saying they're going in now. 81 Donnie Davis riding in the P number 8 currently. Roger Diebold trying to come in. So a couple people definitely coming down, cycling through here.
It'll be interesting to see too if we get another caution flag. See if those guys, those 4 leaving pit road, can get back on a cycle with a larger group of cars. 25 tried to join them a bit earlier, but didn't quite make it. Storm Patterson, Roger Diebold, and Donnie Davis. Those 3 drivers on pit road for service.
As they come down, looks like the lead is taken over by Chris Gale. John Schweigert's still up there. Matt Quick, Ray Rittenauer, Sylvain Jolly rounding out the top 5.
.46 laps on the board, 36 to go. Christopher Gale leading. See how long they decide to stay out on the speedway.
Oh, the number 9 of Adam Schramm there, sideways in the infield. Looks like he was able to make it into pit road. No caution currently, but took a little ride through the grass.
1 car spin, no caution out. Schwackert and Gale break away a little bit from the 89 of Quick. Big push there from Schwackert. They got the rear end loose on that 24. He had to go up there and grab it and bring it back.
Yeah, I think we're looking about 3 to 4 more laps, maybe a little bit less, but that's pretty much, these guys had about 4 to 5 laps of extra than the other guys, Ott brother, Storm Patterson, Diebold, and Hendrick that had stayed out that last time. So, which luckily they pretty much have gotten all grouped up. Sawyer Ott, Tristan Ott, Storm Patterson, and Roger Diebold are nose to tail about 38 seconds back. As we were talking about that, here comes the leaders.
.24.109 coming down with that Matt Quick. Maybe electing to stay out there as he starts flirting with the outside lane there. He will. He'll stay out with teammate 87 of Raymond Rittenauer. Christopher Gale once again using every bit of the racetrack.
Yeah, definitely on the inside there again, locked him up a little bit. But that definitely spreads out the top 10 cars here. Got Quick, his teammate, out there. Ray Rittenauer just kind of riding just like they have been pretty much most of the race, but going to have to come in this time probably and get ready to get back up with everybody else.
See the 37 going to come. 80-20 thought about it. He'll stay out with Rittenauer. Quick. 33-37. They'll peel off pit road. They'll leave Matt Quick, Raymond Rittenauer, Patrick Langley, Matt Cherry, Kyle Weatherman, Monin Rahman, Bailey Curry yet to pit.
Yeah, it looks like everybody's just cycling through now and, trying to get back on the track. And we'll get everybody updated here in a minute. Unfortunately, it looks like 3 cars out of the race currently in 97, 94, and 43. All greater than 20 laps down. Adam Schramm had that spin there on pit road. Lets the leaders go by him. He's 4 laps down. Justin White, 2. Daniel Atkins, 2 as well. And everybody else should probably still be on the lap.
Quick and Rittenauer waiting at the very last second. Let the field know they're coming in. They make a hard turn toward the pits. They'll come to the attention of their crew.
And they're not alone. Kyle Weatherman down there, Matt Curry, Patrick Langley, pretty much the rest of the field there that hadn't pitted all down on pit road.
Oh, Roger Diebold, a little swirly there. He'll hang on to it behind the 63 of Storm Patterson.
Yeah, it looks like there's a pretty decent group, about 6 to 7 cars here. Sawyer, Tristan Ott, Soren Patterson, Roger Debo, David Matson, John Schwackert. Coming around, they got hooked up pretty good together, and it looks like they're coming around to meet the guys that are just coming out of pit road. They have a lot more steam, though.
150 mile an hour for Matt Quick, Raymond Rittenauer.
3 wide here with the Storm Patterson, the Ott brothers going here, coming up to the slow cars coming out of pit. Ooh, it's going to definitely hinder Storm on the bottom.
That may be what those two guys need, as they were coming 190 mile an hour to 150, and they've had time to garner some speed as the field's still barreling down on them.
Yeah, still about 3 to 4 mile an hour difference, so they better get going or they might just kind of swish on by. Tristan has a chance to jump up in front of his brother here. It looks like he's currently electing to stay on the bottom. Nope. Just as I said that, there he goes to the outside of Ray right now.
20 of Patrick Langley going to follow suit. Jump up in a tight hole there. He'll be the sandwich of the Ott brothers, as he's got his hands full out there on the racetrack.
We got a good shot to Tristan Ott there coming down the backstretch. Unfortunately, it got him a little bit sideways. Cars were a little unhappy, so unfortunately weren't able to keep the momentum. But everybody's starting to move around a little bit more than the beginning of the race. Track temperature, still going down 83 degrees currently. So, they should be pushing pretty good here shortly.
And I think a lot of it too has to do with these guys probably only putting on right side tires, spending the least amount of time they can on pit road. In races in the past, we've seen them go maybe just about the whole race on the one, only changing the tires once. But here lately, these new builds, like tire wear is a little greater, and you can hang on to it. Don't get me wrong; you could probably run the whole race on one set if you really wanted to, but you'd have to really be up on the wheel.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, some of these guys, I've raced with Matt Quick and Rittenauer for a number of years, and eventually you're probably going to put lefts on. Instead of taking rights all the time, one time take lefts, just so you don't get to that it's a little loose when you get into somebody, or you don't want to be super loose or super tight when you're trying to make moves at the end of the race.
Definitely loose is here at almost 200 mile an hour is definitely scary, especially somebody on the outside of you or underneath you for that matter. You're trying to catch that race car and not knowing. Used to fight big time cars dragging the nose across the bumper. But we seen, glad those days are somewhat behind us. It still happens, but definitely not like it used to.
No, you're definitely right. And it looks like the packs jumped out to a 15-car breakaway. Chris Gale trying to get back up there. But pretty much top 15 cars. Everybody else spread out a little bit further back than that. Sylvan Joy, Matt Hendricks, and Alex Little running about 14 seconds back with a couple of lap cars. But pretty much 15-car breakaway for the lead here.
Tristan Ott couldn't make his mind up. Finally, it was somewhat forced as the 63 of Patterson closed the gap there. He jumped up in front of Sawyer Ott, Dave Matson, and John Schwackert. 4 on the top, even with the 63 of Patterson in that 5th spot.
Yeah, working lap number 56. We're definitely over halfway, getting close to 3/4 of the way at this point. Most of these guys are probably thinking, there might be some strategy here. When do we come in? Do we come in as soon as we can make it? Do we come in with everybody else? You're probably within 4 to 5 laps, if even that long, of making it to the end on fuel. But then again, do you wait for, in case there's a green, white checker? There's so many different, variables. But at this point, I'm thinking some guys are willing to push it. So we'll see. Maybe some strategy here coming up shortly, or we're just going to ride around and kind of wait to see what happens.
Definitely, and I would almost 100% count on that green-white checker. Even some of the longest green flag runs we've seen here in the past, we go all night without a caution, and the very caution that brings it out is sends us into overtime. So seems like that's the way it goes around here, and most of the time we don't even make it back to the white flag because everybody knows you gotta go, you gotta go, you gotta go, and a lot of give and no take.
Yeah, just like you said, cautions breed cautions. And unfortunately, that's how it is always here at the super speedways. You know, people that are thinking they're 14th can still win the race with 1 lap to go, which it is possible. Don't get me wrong. And we saw that even last week in some of the duels. It was, the Premier Series, person 7th on the final lap coming to the white flag ended up winning the race.
Definitely love coming to Daytona, putting these cars at over 190 mile an hour as caution bug has bit. Looks like connection issues may have been the problem. 69 of Matt Hendricks gonna loop it.
Yeah, unfortunately, what it sounded like is he may have lost some connection, and the 88, unfortunately, when he came back, was inside his bumper, and that's what brought out the caution there in lap 58.
As we watch the replay, Hendricks having so much connection trouble, we can barely keep the camera on him. Now bringing out our second caution of the night. Matt Quick, your leader. Ray Rittenauer, second. Third to be Storm Patterson. Patrick Langley, Tressanac, the top 5.
Well, all we just talked about that strategy and, 2 tires, 4 tires, can we make it the end now? That's all out the window. We can make it from here. I think even with a green-white checkered, if these guys are, being smart about it, shutting their engines off after they make this pit stop, they're probably going to have about 17 to 18 laps to go when they take the green flag.
And this may be that caution that some of those guys that were off sequence needed to get back where they need to be, especially with only a handful of them on that pit cycle.
Yeah, luckily this is definitely going to bring most of them back around. Donnie Davis all the way back there. Unfortunately, Matt Hendricks, Alex Little, they were pretty far off the lead, about 20 to 30 seconds. And luckily with this caution, they're gonna be able to get back up to the front. Although, like we said, cautions breed cautions. About 20 in the main pack as we're getting ready to bring them down pit road.
Pit road here. Still have 20 cars on the lead lap. Donnie Davis in that 20th spot lap on the lead. Leaders come down pit road. Everybody coming. Top 20.
Yeah, I think the call here is probably going to just be 2 tires, left side or right side, full tank of fuel, and then getting out there as quick as you can, because it's definitely probably one of the last pit stops. Matt Quick going to be able to come out first. Ray Rittenauer second. Still able to hold in the top 2 spots as Patrick Langley third, Storm Patterson, and Josh Scully.
Left sides for the 89 and the 87. Pretty, if I can remember correctly, on that last stop, they took rights. Right where they want to be with 21 to go. This is normally where we start seeing Matt Cherry and Ray Rittenauer start moving their way up to the front of the pack, and for only 2 cautions, 5 laps thus far.
That's great. I I hope it stays that way.
Definitely, and now I think we'll see a little more take than what we've been seeing. Hopefully, these guys are top-notch guys. They can run a little more aggressive and stay green flag.
Yeah, there's just always something about like just coming, you know, getting down to the point where you don't have to come in again. You don't you don't have to come in anymore. So your thought is, oh, all right, I got to get up to the front as fast as possible. Unfortunately, it doesn't always help out. That's the way people think. But with under 20 to go, it's definitely going to be uh, try to get there as fast as you can. A couple of penalties on that pit stop there. Fortunately, they're going to have to go to the end of the line.
We'll see Weatherman, Raman, Curry, Alex Little, Ryan Peplinski, and Josh Cully coming in. I take the top off. Take care of any. They even be changing some tape down there.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, at this point, this is your last chance to change anything. Quick and Rittenauer may thought lefts at this point. They might have been a little loose, so taking those would help them out. Looks like the two penalties with Daniel Atkins and Sylvan Jolly. Too many pit stalls coming down the cross through too many pit stalls. There's a 5 limit mark here when you're coming to pit road, and unfortunately, they got the EOL at the start of this restart here.
And speaking of those penalties, glad to have the count back with us, Dylan, up in the admin booth, taking care of all those duties. Got a hell of a job to do up there and have to make quick decisions. Glad to have him back, and I don't have to be a part of any of those decisions, so that's definitely a good thing.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's hard enough just making the call on the race. Glad there's somebody up there. Looks like the pace car is diving off. Going to take the green flag with 63 laps on the board.
Patrick Langley trying his damnedest to stay side by side with that 87, keep them from hooking up on the bottom. Ray Rittenauer on that outside, he'll draw up in behind the 89 of Matt Quick. He knows, got to keep those two separated.
Yeah, and it was actually kind of funny there. I don't know if you saw it, but Matt Quick definitely got off the gas there, trying to close the gap between himself and Patrick Langley and give the 87 some time to get up there. Unfortunately, didn't work out. Patrick's going to be in between them. Storm Patterson on the outside with the number 1 John Schreckert and the number 25 Richard Daybold going to make their way up to the front.
Big push there from the 20 of Langley. Up in those cars, he and Quick getting a little swirly. Looking for Langley to jump up in front of that 63 at any moment. But he may know he needs to keep as much distance between those two guys as possible. Definitely don't need the 87 to jump out there.
Yeah, we're still seeing some different strategy here through the back of the field. It looks like Matt Cherry running back in P14, still, hanging back a little bit. Him and his teammates, Kyle Weatherman, Monin Raman, Bailey Curry, still just riding back there. They're waiting. They're waiting to see when it happens. They're waiting to see the big one. Storm Patterson up on the outside. Definitely getting a little more push from John Schwecker than we saw a little here earlier in the race. Got a little squirrely on the front stretch. A couple of guys are like, it's time to go. So everybody kind of just, figuring out what's going to happen.
There's Rittenauer up to the second lane in front of 63 of Storm Patterson. He'll quickly pull alongside the 20 of Langley now. Contend with 89 of Matt Quick. Two teammates controlling both lines. Patrick Langley having to hold on to her there.
Honestly, that's good for Rittenauer and Storm Patterson, making the outside work a little bit easier. Ray might get enough here to make a drop to the bottom. No, doesn't look like it by turn 1. But you gotta be wondering. It's Quick and Rittenauer are saying, hey, let's just ride side by side and let's get hooked up front to back. And we still got about 15 laps here, but it's definitely getting that person.
And those two guys are smart enough; they'll ride side by side as long as they can. They'll know. They know though, as we see Rittenauer well out there in front, had all opportunity he could to jump down, but there isn't enough room here at Daytona. You got to keep an eye out on that 63 machine. He could force Rittenauer into no man's land.
Yeah, and you could be thinking about it this way. I mean, Storm Patterson, Patrick Langley, also teammates. You know, behind the two leaders, they could also be, talking to each other. Hey, don't push the 87 too far to get out in front of the 89, or hey, don't push the 89, too much so we're going backwards. So at this point, got two teammates side by side, 2 rows deep. So it should be interesting here. Although the 87 got a decent run here, he is clear of the 89 now.
He will choose to deposit himself in the front of the 89 of Matt Quick. See how the rest unfolds as we'll come to 14 to go. Patterson will drop down in front of Langley on the bottom side of the racetrack.
18 car breakaway here for the top of the field. Ray Rittenauer and Matt Quick on the bottom hooked up. I mean, to me, if I'm behind him, that's not a good sight. I mean, 2 teammates, very good here at the Super Speedways. Hooked up, coming to 10 to go here in the next couple laps. Whoa, Quick to the outside. He's like, Ray Rittenauer, I want you to finish second.
And that's one thing I'll have to give to those two guys. They are competitive with each other. They do what they need to do to stay with each other and work with each other. They are definitely both still competitive. They both want to win just as bad as the other. But right now, I think the content way to ensure victory between the two is to control both lanes for as long as they can. They weren't quite satisfied yet with running nose to tail.
Yeah, and we haven't really seen too much 3 wide here. I know Storm Patterson took a little 3 wide. It looks like the 89 came down into the 20 there. Everybody getting a little squirrely up in the front. And the 63 jumps to the outside. Very little hole, but now it's definitely starting to shake up.
Yeah, we see 89 Quick trying to do all he could to put 63 Patterson in no man's land there, but 20 of Patrick Langley kind of came to his aid there as he's got a good run into turn 1 here.
Yeah, 2 by 2 by 2 all the way back to 14th place. These guys are side by side, outside trying to work, inside trying to work. That second group is starting to come up now. Bailey Curry, Kyle Weatherman. It's go time at this point. Looks like the 63 is going to clear the 87. And I have time. 89 trying to take it 3 wide, and he does to the outside for a moment, but back to 2 wide.
Whoa, net coat there with the 1. Schwackert, can he hold it up there? I'm going to give tip of the hat to John Schwackert. I could tell by the way that car was acting. He held the wheel straight to the right to stay off of everybody. And what a hell of a piece of driving by everybody else, along with Schwackert, and keeping this thing green with 11 to go.
Yeah, that was definitely a good move by him, selfless move, keeping himself up into the wall instead of taking everybody out. We're getting down to 10 to go here, but unfortunately, a little bit of net code there got him out into the outside wall. Coming up on the lap car, the 88, the 89, and 63 side by side for the lead.
Big run for Matt Quick there off the nose of the 24 Christopher Gale. Lap car go by 3 wide. He'll give all the room he can to this lead pack. The 81 of Donnie Davis was in the 20th spot. Our last caution flag. He'll come across the line now. Scored in the 9th spot. Just the 3rd car on the outside.
Yeah, definitely a couple names here getting up to the front that we haven't seen all day, but the pack's all together. Now we're here. It's pretty much the end of the race. Got less than 10 to go. little 3-wide action in the back. People are starting to go. Looks like here comes the 48 and the 6 of Weatherman. They're making a push, looking to go 3-wide into 3. Oh, got into the 09.
Sylvain Jolly up the racetrack. He'll hold on to it. The 24. Just my thinking here, if I'm that quick and just what happened, I'll try to lay back and let the 87 out front. And 24 Gale was trying to prevent that as much as he could, but he can't stay in that back deck lid long enough. Teammates nose to tail. First 2 rows again.
Teammates on the outside, teammates on the inside. This time they're hooked up. Last time they were separated, but they are all over each other's bumper. 89 all over the back of that 87, trying to get him to the lead here. Unfortunately, not able to do it. At this point, you're getting to the time where you're like, all right, temperatures, it's, they've been up there, but it's time to go. We're going to risk it a little bit.
And a little more experience in that top lane. Those 2 teammates, a lot of experience pushing nose to tail as the 87 of Rittenauer goes to the lead.
87 to the lead, 48 trying to take it 3-wide. Everybody's trying to make it up to the front now. 48 still looking to make it 3-wide between the 09 and the 05. Starting a single file out, but the 63 all over the back bumper of the 87.
Those 2 behind him were open quick, would fall back, and
here we go.
The big one.
Unfortunately, the 48 trying to get through the middle there, and the 81 really wasn't giving him room. Unfortunately, didn't really have much room there to get in there, but forced his way in. A couple laps left, and unfortunately taking out a lot of great cars. 35, 81, 09, 05, 08, 6, 44.
Yeah, 48 of Cherry puts her 3-wide. Take another look there. Looks like 81 comes down, makes contact with 48. He'll grab the 35. There's nowhere else to go for everyone else.
Yeah, like we said, unfortunately, cautions breed cautions, but that took out a lot of the leaders there, pretty much from 7th place back. A lot of people are going to have to take some damage repair here, but top 7 unscathed. Looks like we're going to have a maybe 4 to 5 lap shootout.
Definitely going to set it up for a good one. We see some good hard racing there those last 5 laps. And fortunately, first 3-wide action for position that we saw on the racetrack resulted in the biggest wreck of the night. It'll be
unfortunately, just happened that way,
Be interesting to see too how everything shakes out on this restart. The 87, 89, multitudes of experience and time running together. I've fortunately been able to be a part of that. Shout out to my guys over at Redneck Racing. We run a lot of super speedway races and get to the point where you run enough and you can pretty much know what the other guy's doing without communication. You're on the same page and you're reading the same book. It's just like a beautiful choreographed dance, man. You make moves and without the hesitation of thinking, gives you that just a little bit of advantage over the next guy. Definitely fun to be a part of, especially when you got two other teammates there that are they're on their same page and y'all both going to town.
Yeah, no, it should be interesting here. I mean, Rittenauer has a choice of the inside, the outside. So does he let the teammates line up, on the bottom and go with quick, or does he just, stick with the bottom and separate them? It's going to come down to it. Looks maybe about 8 to 10 cars don't really have any damage here, so they're probably going to be the ones that are vying for the win. I'm going to take the green flag on lap 78, so a good 3-lap shootout. I'm not sure if we're going to make it there. I think we might get a green-white checkered. Hopefully, it's just a good race to the finish.
And straight out of the race car, joining us in the booth, 35 Sawyer out. Tough break there, man. Cherry pushing the issue there, going 3 wide, and unfortunately, not enough room for him. Was running good all night, man. Finally got to see you and Tristan, as we talked about. Don't get to see it a lot. You and Tristan working good together there up front, and worked a little bit of different strategy. He was able to get back on the same page with everybody else. And then, unfortunately, the big one.
Yeah, man, tough way to end our night for sure. It's just one of them deals. I mean, I get where Matt's coming from. It's time to go, but just forcing it right there, like you said, and just it's part of the race. It's part of this deal, and not what we wanted. Like you said, feel like we played the race right, and we were in the right spot at the right time towards the end, just kind of waiting to go, and we just kind of got taken out in someone else's mess. It'll go that way sometimes. It's just frustrating. It's just part of it, man. Just a tough way to end it.
Green flag out.
Yep.
We'll have 4 laps to go. Rittenauer, the big huge jump out front of that 63 machine.
Yeah, definitely broke it up there. I mean, I thought Quick was going to try to get to the, I don't know if that's a good idea. 20 going up and up to the outside there. He'll be in front of his teammate. It's going to be teammate, kind of on teammate on the bottom. Inside definitely prevailing now with 5 on the bottom.
Tristan not jump up there. I believe that was Tristan. He'll jump up there and join the top side in front of Gale. If Langley and Patterson going to have to rally here with Roger Diebold on the bottom. Here comes the 89 of Matt Quick. He'll try to jump up and quickly goes to no man's land.
Yeah, it looks like 3 wide. Unfortunately, Matt Quick in the sucker hole. The 24 coming up to help him out, though, as the 20 clears and takes the lead.
Yeah, you got teammates up top with Patterson Langley racing. Oh, he squeezes them down. Oh, man, you hate to see that. Just not enough room for the 63 to come down right there.
Get you that replay real quick.
Yeah,
High
like
above the chopper here.
Yeah, there just wasn't room for him. I mean, he hesitated. That's basically what happened. Because you could see the 2063 are well clear of Quick, getting into the corner, but they just took forever to come down. And by the time they decided, Quick was on that bumper of storm, and fortunately took him out.
That's exactly the move that they've been setting up all night to get that 89 and 87 separated there. They knew it was coming. The scrappy veterans of Quick and Rittenauer. And I just unfortunately a little bit of hesitation there from the young gun who had a hell of a race, and it's going to break us up into our one and only green-white checker. Now, total different view up front.
Yeah, definitely different view. Ray Rittenauer pretty much lost his teammate. Patrick Langley also lost his. Richard Diebold back up to the front here. Josh Cully, Chris Gale. We didn't see those guys mostly up for to the front here in the top 5. And that number 37/14, Ryan Poplinski, haven't seen him up there all night as well as Alex Little, but they're now when it's important.
That's just a page out of the old Poplinski book. He seems to always find his way up there at the end of these things. But I want to give it, hats off to these drivers, man. We're working our fourth caution of the night. Unfortunately, cautions did breed them, but we could very well be sitting here under 6 cautions. We've done it before. These drivers have really put on a good show, and I hate it for John Swackert. He was flirting at the front, dominating there in the early half, and got pushed up in the wall and decided to do what was best for the field and just held her to the right. I know, hopefully he don't have one of those direct drive wheels, because this is all you can do to hold those bad boys with a regular wheel. I could just imagine bouncing off of that thing like you did with an old direct drive.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, at this point, we were talking about earlier tires. I mean, some of these guys might not have. That could have been why the 63 took a while to get down there. Maybe he just didn't take left sides all race. And when that happens, actually, these cars get pretty tight. They want to go to the outside. They want to drift up. So that could have been the issue. But like you said, there was a lot of great saves tonight that didn't bring out caution. So, glad we're only working our fourth caution here. But it's going to be an interesting finish. Green, white, checkered. A couple guys that haven't been up there all race.
Definitely looking forward to it. Can't wait to see those lights extinguish on the top of that Ford Mustang. Quite a few guys here in the back trying to salvage a good finish with a pretty substantial damage. Had 2 open wheel modifieds there heading back out on the Speedway. Matt Quick there, missing the whole front end of that machine as well.
Yeah, let's take a pretty good look at it. It looks like the top 7 cars, that ends in row number 4 with Alex Little. He is the last car that really doesn't look like he has any major damage. No hood on the 08, major damage on 69, 44, 89. So I'm thinking it's probably going to be between these top 7 cars, unless there's a big wreck. But pretty much everybody else is trying to hold on for position.
Take the green flag. If we do have a caution before we make it back to the white, that will be the flag that ends it. Hopefully we can make her back to the checker here. Patrick Langley at a Travelers Rest, South Carolina, on that outside. The Bass Pro Mobile 1 Ford Mustang. A little weird to say there. Guess you gotta kind of stick with what you know. If I was a Ford salesman, I'd probably have a Ford too as the pace car ducks on off. Green flag is out. Raymond Rittenauer in the gas.
Yeah, it looks like it definitely is not a good restart. The 2 actually looks like quite a significant damage, holding up the inside lane. Everybody's getting spread out here in the top 3 have a breakaway, then 3 more after that. And 2 behind them. It's going to be the top 8 cars possibly for the win.
We'll all go single file here. Christopher Gale still flirting back there. 33, Josh Cully. Back the blue machine. He'll pull up in that 4th spot behind the 20. Who's the first to duck to the outside?
It doesn't look like we're making a back. Oh, big crash in the back. Kyle Weatherman around. That's going to do it. Ray Rittenauer looks like he was going to be out front with the win here. Unfortunately, they were 3 wide on the backstretch and a crash right into probably about 14th place.
Seen one car go up and over the catch fence.
Yeah, just unfortunately, guys racing for positions way in the back got through wide, and it sucks for the guys up front that were going for the lead. But that's plate racing. I mean, you're trying to get on the position you got. This is a point series, uh, you know, league. So that 1 point at the end of the season could make or break you, or even going into the playoffs. So I understand it, but it's unfortunate for the guys up front.
Looks like this wreck started way back off the exit. Turn number 2. As the 6 will go down and try to block the 23. Up into the 69. Unfortunately for Matt Hendricks, he was up and out of the park. We'll have our top 3 interviews. We'll have plenty of time to get them up in the booth. Congratulations to Raymond Rittenauer. Daytona 201 winner Roger Debo, going to be P2. P3 Patrick Langley. Josh Cully, Christopher Gale, your top 5. Right, 1 second here, looking for the 87. Rittenauer. Probably hopping over now. Then we'll get our first one up with the 20. Patrick Langley. Joining up in the booth, Travelers Rest, South Carolina native, the 20 Bass Pro Shops Mobile 1 Mustang. A little weird to say there, but I tell you what, man, you and Storm Patterson were doing all you could against the 89 and 87, working those last laps there, back and forth. 2 sets of teammates challenging each other. Definitely put on a show for the fans here tonight, and unfortunately those cautions bred cautions right up to the end of it, but able to hold on there. P3, we were setting up for an exciting finish, just waiting for one of you guys to pull out in that second lane there in the green white checker.
Yeah, for sure, Grizzle. First off, want to thank you up in the booth, and thank the Iron Thunder Racing Network for putting this on, and Sawyer for doing this, and thank the boys back up at PLR, the race shop, for bringing a fast plate car for tonight. We man, I tell you what, there's nothing like a chess match at 180, 190 mile an hour. It's I tell you what, it's so fun. You got to make decisions and keep your car under control, and while you're running inches apart, and it's just so fun. I had a good group of guys out here tonight. There's a lot of experience up front as far as experience in the league and racing around those guys. So you knew it was going to be a good finish. I hate those guys back there got caught up. I'm sure it was just a racing incident, but that tends to happen on these late race cautions. But, man, what a fun night. What a good race. Green flag pit stops throughout the night. No cautions. There was a couple, but other than that, a lot of green flag stops, 2 green flag stops, a lot of strategy while you're while you're drafting out there. And as the laps tick by, you want to be sure you pit with people to not lose the draft. You want to be sure that you take left or right tires, and not be sure you have a partner coming out. But man, it was a lot of fun. Thank you, Bass Pro Shops, Evan Rude Tracker Boats. Not a bad way to end the night after before we hit the water in the morning to do some fishing in our tracker boat.
Alrighty, I mean we talked to a little bit about the experience of Matt and Ray there. They run a lot of races on these super speedways together in other leagues and in hosted rooms and stuff. You and Storm teammates have some experience, not quite as much experience together as those guys. But we're talking about how good it is to know your teammate and be able to do stuff, communication free, and that little bit of knowing what the other guy's going to do gives you a little bit of advantage, not having to think about it or discuss it. And we definitely could tell, as the more the night went on, you two guys were starting to gel a little more together. We even got to see something we normally don't see. We got to see the Ott brothers work together here tonight. This is just a prelude to what's to come tomorrow night when we crank it up for the big time premiere series. We ought to see even better show as we'll see some of the same names and some more talent sprinkled in here. And I'm going to go ahead and wish you the best of luck tomorrow night and best of luck on the water tomorrow.
We're just been, couldn't do this without my teammates as well. Matt Hendricks, Storm Patterson. We do a lot of things. Jason Rowdy Bush. I couldn't do it without those guys. And of course, thank you again for being up in the booth. And man, we're excited for tomorrow night. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
All right, good luck, bud. Alrighty, P2 finisher. I'm pretty sure you're knocking down some claws right now in that 25 Roger Devold. Man, we had a hell of a race tonight. Probably one of the best out here for the Premier or the Rush Series at Daytona. And unfortunately, there at the end, those cautions bred cautions, so we were getting ready to set it up. I believe we're going to see what you and Patrick had there. I believe looks like y'all two may have been the first two to start to jump out of that second lane.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean it was good. Ray, me and Ray were talking just before that restart, trying to get a little strategy going on. Just being teammates, trying to help each other out. And I knew if I could get Patrick to settle in behind me, then we'd be good to go. And then we just duke it out, coming out of turn 4. But yeah, we're fighting handling problems early on in the run. We got it figured out. Just dragging the right rear into the racetrack, making me super loose, kind of slowed me down in the corners. But I mean, it was fast. It was good down the straightaways, so we were able to keep track position all night.
I tell you, momentum swinging with you here past 2 weeks, and I look forward to carrying it on there. Let Josh get a quick word with you, see if he has questions for you.
Yeah, Roger, it looked like, started back at 21st tonight, made your way up to the front towards the end there. And unfortunately, it looked like you had your hands full on that second to last caution. Almost got taken out. What was working through your mind? I know you and Ray were, pretty much up there towards the front. Could have worked together. Probably one of you guys would win. But was there any plan prior to that to work with anybody else, or just trying to get up there and get a good finish?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we try to work with our teammates the best we can. But as you know, always don't get to work with them. They're not always around you. And so, I mean, Patrick Langley and Storm Patterson we work together real good, especially on these super speedways. Another one, Matt Cherry. I wasn't really around him tonight, but I mean, there's a couple other friends out there that we work real good together and pushing and following and leading and all that stuff. So there's a game plan just to kind of ride around to see, not really drop to the back, but not really charge to the front, just kind of see where things shaked out, and ended up working out pretty good.
Yeah, that's great. And, one of the biggest movers of the night, P21, like we said, P2. But a great run for you. Any sponsors, shout outs you'd like to thank before we let you go?
Yeah, I'd like to thank, first of all, Hardcore Fishing Game for coming on board this season. You can see them on my hood there. You can check them out at hardcorefishinggame.com. They also have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that fun stuff. And Lithium Hub, as always, for helping me get these things running right. And just shout out to my mom and dad and my grandma and grandpa. I know they're watching me.
Alrighty,
Again,
bud.
Roger, congratulations on the second place finish tonight. And it looks like we're going to try to go ahead and catch up with Ray Rittenauer down there. Probably still burning his tires off as much as possible. But Ray Rittenauer taking home P1 tonight.
Daytona 201 winner, the 87 Raymond Rittenauer. Congratulations, bud. I'll let Josh take this one for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, congrats, Ray. I mean, Pete started P4. Saw you up there pretty much most of the night. You and Matt Quick, your buddy there from a long time. Obviously, a lot of people know that. And going into it, what were you thinking at the beginning of the race?
I didn't know what to think. The car wasn't handling very good at the start. Had to take lefts there for a while. It kind of evened it out there. It was wobbling all over the place, but we were fast. That was for sure.
Yeah, we saw you up at the front most of the race. We talked to Roger right before you, and sounded like you guys were talking before that last restart, just trying to both get a good finish. Did it really matter to you, or did you guys have a decision like who was going to win if it came down to the last lap, last corner pass? Unfortunately, we were able to get there though.
Yeah, we worked out a little thing. We were going to go early just in case the caution came out, but he was going to push me up until he got the chance to go for it, and it was anybody for himself there. So.
Yeah, it definitely got hairy there last couple of laps. Cautions breed cautions, and you're able to weather the storm though. I mean, you guys looked great out there pretty much all the night, inside outside lane. Even it didn't look like it to us here, up in the booth, but it looked like you were holding a steady line the whole time. Um, we had talked about you mostly through the race. Your experience super speedways with Quick and your other teammates definitely gave you advantage here. Do you think, or do you think it was just kind of luck tonight?
Oh no, it was a whole team effort there tonight.
Alrighty, man. I tell you what, I'll hit on something real quick here too. I know you said that early on this was a little bit of handful, and we noticed, and I told Josh it was a little uncharacteristic. We see you kind of getting down in that apron there early on in the running. Was that due to the handling of the race car?
Oh yeah, it kept oversteering, and I kept hitting the yellow there, getting squiggly. It was a handful, and then once we took lefts there for a while, it kind of evened the car out, made the handling a lot better. It pushed a lot coming out of pit road, but them last yellow flag stops, it didn't matter.
Alrighty, man. Well, I tell you what, appreciate you for running with us and taking your time out to join us up at the booth. We'll let you go celebrate and do a quick turnaround for tomorrow night. Good luck.
All right, thank you.
Alrighty, that was Raymond Rittenauer, for Daytona 201 winner here for the Iron Thunder Racing League Rust Series. And wound up with 5 cautions for 14 laps, 18 lead changes. Raymond Rittenauer wound up leading 18 of those. Josh Cully held on with the fastest lap of the race, the 46.370. I'll get the results up on there for you. I never find the button. And Josh Cully, he'll bring it home in that 4th spot. 5th belongs to Christopher Gale. 7th shine teammate Ryan Peplinsky in the 6th spot. 7th belongs to Sylvain Jolly. Monin Raman, he'll bring home 8th. 9th will be Daniel Atkins. 10th, the 89 of Matt Quick.
Yeah, great top 10 for everybody here tonight. It was definitely a hard fought race, and you saw a lot of guys doing what they could there at the end, trying to get up to the front. But we're looking towards the Premier Series tomorrow night. We started 27 cars here tonight. Tomorrow there's 43. We're going from the a setup that you guys can, anybody there in this race could have tweaked to how they liked it to feel, and a little better, a little less loose. But tomorrow night it's fixed. Everybody's under the same thing. 43 cars. Gotta think, hopefully we have some of the great racing we did tonight.
And I definitely do believe we'll see it. Some of the same talent that's here. Join us tomorrow night, mixed in there with some even greater talent that just runs at the Premier side. I do want to give a shout out to those 3 guys in the Premier side that didn't make it. Wish we could have started 46 of you, but unfortunately we won't be able to. But do know we appreciate you, and you matter to us just as much as 43 in the field. We hope that you'll continue to race with us and join us next week as we move on. But yeah, like you said, man, I can't wait to get back here tomorrow night and see what the Premier size has. We'll be able to cover a little bit of, be able to show a little more. We'll probably come in a little early and do a few practice laps there because there will be no qualifying. We'll probably come in a little early on the end of practice there and see who the fastest is in happy hour there. Can't wait to get here. We appreciate you joining us up here, Josh. It was definitely a fun night here, and glad to have you. And we will inch on out of here and get some shut-eye and get ready for tomorrow.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Yeah, everybody, good luck tomorrow night and next week here at Las Vegas in the Rush Series. But till tomorrow, everybody have a good one.
Alrighty, for Josh Ball, I'm Jonathan Grissom. Y'all keep